So, how are we feeling about the government reopening?
Full of rage. That pretty much describes it.
Three women talking about politics?
Hey, organizers. Bad news. Good news? Complicated news. The government is back open. Because I certainly didn't have time to read through the entire deal, I'm going to quote this article from PBS NewsHour. What's in the Senate shutdown deal? So what's in this thing? It funds the government through January 30th. It funds some critical departments, including the Department of Veterans Affairs, Military Construction, the Department of Agriculture, Special Supplemental Nutrition Program for Women, Infants and Children, which is WIC, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, which is SNAP, which is exciting, and Congress itself through September 2026, which is the end of the fiscal year for the government. It also orders that states be reimbursed for any federal expenses they paid during the shutdown, including what they paid for SNAP benefits, which was something that Trump was threatening to withhold at one point. It also reverses the mass layoffs of federal workers during the shutdown and blocks new mass layoffs until the end of January. The Affordable Care Act subsidies have officially expired, which means healthcare costs for millions of people are going to skyrocket.
I'm rarely left without words, really, and this one has left me like choked. I can't find words to describe how disappointing this is. I'm going to put on my mom hat and just let all the Democrats who voted for this know that I am deeply disappointed in them.
Yeah, I am both mad and disappointed.
But really, what the fuck? Right? Like so much pain, so much. We've asked so much of so many people and everyone was on board and we won a bunch of elections. And then the Democrats were just like, oh, the lesson we took away from this was nobody wants us to stick up for them anymore. I am uncomfortable because I'm having to stand in the breach, right? We talked about this on the government shutdown episode and that how I felt so strongly that this was so good because it was clearly communicating to the American people that we were ready as a party to stand there and take the hit, take the brunt of this fallout with the backing of people who believe in us to make sure people get health care and to make sure that there are consequences for the Republicans who control all levels of government. And that really wasn't the case.
You have given away all of your power in this situation. You don't have much to begin with. You had this small amount of power that could have allowed for a lot of protections to remain and for a lot of things to happen for good and in a more permanent sense than temporary, right? But the other part of this is like whether or not this works, and they do hold true to those things, taking the risk is not a calculated risk. I am tired of hearing the analysts who are saying, well, by the time it's midterms and this is when it's going to actually happen and we're playing the long game here. We're not. We have not been playing the long game the way that the Republicans have been playing the long game. And we are going to end up looking just ridiculous because everything that they have done, they have told you they're going to do it. They've been telling you for years. Project 2025, all of the campaign promises that were made from the first administration. It's all happened. So I don't understand why these Democrats that have voted in favor of this have said, maybe this is different. Why take the risk when it means people will die?
I'm like looking ahead as a strategist, right? In one vote, Senate Democrats not only rendered the last 43 days of fighting absolutely pointless, all of the pain Americans have been feeling over the last 43 days, pointless. They set us up for failure in the major fights for the future of our healthcare and access to abortion care. Because what they have taught Republicans in this moment is that when Republicans set up a hard choice, a false dichotomy, just like they did with this shutdown, choose SNAP benefits or let us gut healthcare. Like, we're either going to take away people's SNAP or we're going to take away healthcare. Do you want people to eat or do you want people to have healthcare? It has shown them that Democrats will cave. That if they just wait long enough, Democrats will cave first.
Yeah, I think it's a new low to use this as a tactic for negotiations. And I think anyone that thinks that this is going to be a one-off special circumstance is very wrong. I think this will now be the new normal of like, fine, you're not looking, you're looking to get this. We're not willing to give it. We'll take away food. We'll take away healthcare. We'll take away these other things that allow people to survive. That's one aspect. I also think it's given way to a lot of these narratives that exist, which I started to notice in like 2016 when Trump, the tapes were leaked with Trump, famously claiming to have sexually assaulted women. It led to a lot of this like rhetoric online about it's just locker room talk and it's women are basically not as worthy of that respect than men. And he's just, boys will be boys, that kind of talk. I've noticed a significant uptick in people talking about SNAP benefits in a way that I haven't really heard before as this should not be an issue because these people are just too lazy to, they should just get a job. That's why they are in this situation. It's led to a lot of this rhetoric that basically feels like a further attack on people in need. And that has been particularly jarring to me to notice that Republicans, not just members of Congress, but Republicans are very willing to attack those that need these services, which have existed for years. This isn't something new that Republicans and Democrats are fighting about because Democrats have introduced it to the floor yesterday. These have existed for lots and lots and lots of years. I think people lose sight of the fact, like, if you believe that an adult is just lazy and entitled and not willing to work for something, for the argument's sake, let's say that's true. What about the children that are in need, that have not asked to be born, that are existing in these homes? As a child that received SNAP benefits, I can tell you they were the difference between my sibling and I eating for a lot of days. And the idea that they're somehow, living in luxury off of these SNAP benefits. I can tell you as someone who, when the days were going on and it was now the 20th and the 25th, and now we're approaching that final time, the panic that just came over me, remembering what that was like and what that feeling felt like. And I think about the kids involved in this and the fact that Republicans are willing to attack those children to maintain this hard line about taking things that people need to survive away that have existed for many years, with absolutely being unwilling to negotiate on things that I think are frivolous spending. The pro-life party argument really falls flat for me when you're willing to starve children and elderly and veterans and people that are in need of food.
It didn't used to be a political statement to say that if you are willing to starve children, you are a monster. That used to be Disney villain level shit.
The Democrats were in a position of power. And after 40 days, we actually started to see national repercussions, right? Chaos at the airports, everyday Americans, middle-class Americans, business, all disrupted because people couldn't fly to their meetings, get home for whatever their events were, get on vacation. Once it started to percolate out into the greater population, the pain of the shutdown, that's when people started to see, we're going to have a real problem. And the Democrats, instead of recognizing that that's actually a position of power, that this pain allowed them to say, yeah, we don't want this either. The Republicans are the ones who refuse to even come to the table to negotiate with us over something really foundational, which is millions and millions and millions of people will not be able to afford healthcare without these subsidies. We're gonna hold on because now they're actually feeling the pain, right? You were in a position of power because there were repercussions that Republicans took seriously. Airport delays, travel delays, disruptions in commerce, disruption to the economy. That was your leverage. That was your position of power. If we had gone into Thanksgiving with chaos at the airports, they would have done anything to end it because they couldn't get home either.
This is holiday season, and a lot of the donors that heavily persuade the decisions that are happening with these members of Congress don't want the economy to stop. They need people out there Christmas shopping. They need people out there traveling. They want people buying extra food for the holidays. I don't think it's about a moral issue where they feel bad. I think their donors are saying, get your shit together and vote for whatever they're saying, because we need the economy to function at the level that our capitalistic society functions at. We need everyone ready for Black Friday and for Small Business Saturday and Cyber Monday and all the other bullshit things. They need that to happen. So they are going to lean heavy on some of these Democrats that are also about to sort of age out of Congress in that they are not seeking reelection. They need things to open back up because they need the economy to be thriving. And if things are shut down and no one's getting a paycheck, that's going to impact their bottom line. Everything in politics connects to money, and there is always an explanation if you look at the financing for things. And I think that's really what is happening behind the scenes.
Because I love to make everything about judges. I want to reference a moment in history when people watched the way in which Dr. Anita Hill was treated on live television by some very familiar names who also happen to be Democrats and Republicans. Yeah. When women across the country saw the absolutely disrespectful, doesn't even begin to cover it, way that she was treated during the confirmation process of Clarence Thomas, it inspired something called the Year of the Woman, where women across the country ran for Congress, ran for Senate, and we saw record numbers of women win their seats. And it changed the face of Congress. I hope this moment inspires people to do the same. If you can do better than this, if you care about your community more than what you are seeing on television from your members of Congress, run for office.
Yeah, channel some white male confidence and get out there. And I'd like to see smart people that have some lived experiences. You have an experience with, not having access to healthcare. That's a great legislative opportunity for you. You have some experience, with food insecurity. Another opportunity for you. You don't have to have the answers to every single issue. Most of Congress has the answers to no issues. But this is an opportunity for you to jump in and say, I am the actual person that has been impacted by these decisions, and I want a seat at the table.
The last thing I want to say is, Meg, you brought up the Year of the Woman. I think this congressional season of 2026 is going to be the generational shift. Mm-hmm. I think there's just going to be an overwhelming number of people who run in primaries, who win their primaries, and we'll end up seeing Gen Xers and millennials and Gen Z flood into Congress.
Good. Primary the shit out of everyone in 2026 and 2028 every year.
Primary the shit out of everyone.
Everybody. If you are in a district that has a person who has voted against your best interest and that you feel is not representing you anymore, primary them. I think for so long people have been afraid to jump into these races, but they should not be, because we are dealing with members of Congress who have checked out.
I want to manifest this. I am grateful for all of the women who came before us. I am grateful for the good work that our Congress has been able to, at some points, make happen, right? I don't say this from a place of like, get out of the way, old person. I say this from a place of the world has changed. And it's time to model a new behavior, right? There's no guidebook. There's no way, there hasn't been a way to show walking away from power and allowing somebody else to come through. And since that hasn't happened, it's now time to do it the good old fashioned democratic way of primaries and winning elections.
All right, organizers, that's it for today's Minisode on the government shutdown deal. You heard us. It's time to get out there and run for office. And when you do, we want to hear from you. Winning elections is kind of our thing. You can always reach out to us on our website, rootstoresults.com. And coincidentally, that's also where you can find episodes of this podcast. We'd love it if you'd like, subscribe, leave a review. That's especially helpful. You can leave a review on Apple and Google. It helps us find more amazing organizers just like you. Until next time, go outside, touch some grass, sign up to run for office, and remember, the group chat is only part of the movement. See you next time. Bye!